Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, sim fans, race fans, RC fans. Racing 393 here again for another video. So this is going to be before my running video actually. So I've done a bit of work to the TT01E chassis. I've always called this a TT01. It is basically, but this one is an E. A few differences with drive shafts and various bits and pieces. There's a few other, I'm sure, differences between the TT01 and the E, which I may not be aware of, but most of my TT01 stuff fits anyway. So, so what have I done this time? Well, I'm gonna move the camera around so I can just basically go over quickly what I've done before we take this for a run out. So, bear with. So I've put a FlySky receiver which has got an inbuilt gyro inside, so that's going to probably help with the stability, especially under the braking and the slowing down process. That was actually somebody which recommended this on my channel, so I had some gyro receivers anyway prior to this, but sold them. I wasn't sure whether I would need them or not. Clearly that it's probably going to help. They're generally not used. I'm not sure actually whether they're used in competition. I looked them. I think they're an aid for stability. So things like, you know, the big scene at the moment which is taken off, the drag racing scene, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed them in that. So anyhow, this is just a speed run budget build, if you like. So anyone they can use what they like, can't they? So we've got that on there, which you can see exactly the same size as any other sort of receiver, to be honest. What else did I do? So things you can't see. In the front of the car, we put a one-way diff made by Tamiya. That, along with in the rear there, the ball diff. It's not going to make any difference with respect to speed, but it might make. It certainly seems to turn freer through the drivetrain than the standard stock setup. So if it turns easier, then it's less friction, maybe more performance. I don't know. I'm sort of had a really little rubbish run last time. I was quite disappointed with myself and, well, not so much the car. It got very, very hot there. Now in the car at the moment is a 5,000 milliamp nickel metal hydrate battery. I'm probably not going to run that on the first attempt. I want to get this back out. I'm going to run it on my 4,300, is it? Whatever I got, what I've used to run before. Because running too many runs and too much amperage going through it runs really hot. I mean, you can see down there that that's a standard 1060 hobby wing speed controller. There's nothing. They're like literally 18 quid, if that. Plug and play, dead easy. There's not much. Well, there ain't anything you can do. You can adjust some stuff on the hand controller, on the transmitter. But it's, you know, to be fair, it's hidden down. It should, in fairness, sit a bit higher, if I'm honest with you, so it gets some air. But it is what it is. So the runs need to be limited, not just putting battery pack after battery pack. I'm going to try and do just one run with one type of battery pack, see the results. If I'm pleased with that, then put the other battery in. Now the other thing I've done, which again you can't see, I've messed around with the shock absorbers. Back to my sort of Superstock days, these used to run a little bit more upright. So when you run them in at the top, and you know, so they're sort of canted over, a bit more of a rake, it does soften the springs. The same spring on the shock will become softer because of the angle. So invariably, if you run shocks right canted over, like on some kits or real life cars even, the spring that has to be quite stiff to sort of have the same effect. What's it called? The compress. I don't know. I used to know this. The compression of the spring, so it's a lot easier when it's canted over. So the back I've just moved in at the top. It is softer. I'm very pleased with that actually. On the front, I've done the same. So I've canted them over. I've also changed the pistons inside these shocks. I'm going to try and show you here. That's kind of what that's gone. It's gone forever. Wherever that is. I think it's gone into the car. It doesn't matter. I've got another one here. So it's got the, well, you can see I've put a hole in that myself, but you can see that it's quite restricted. So I didn't realise that. I just drilled a hole and put it in. I'm looking at that. I'll just show you again. So try and get a bit of focus there. So there's one hole on the left. That was already there. The one on the right, which is just not in the same place, that's the one I drilled. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, just under that is another hole, which is, yeah, you can see that side. Big fat Chernobyl fingers in the way. Yeah. So I don't think that was actually particularly very helpful. So I've put some other, I've got some Tamiya Racing Family pistons that I had from other shock absorbers. So I've put ones of those in these shocks. These are non-Tamiya, but you can get these on my website, on my eBay store. So if you're interested in these particular shocks, they come with different springs. So these are the Tamiya tuning springs on these. I'll digress a bit here, but you can buy these shocks. I've just noticed something really annoying. Yeah, look. I've got the shocking upside down. Right, that's easy to change. I didn't think that looked right. And there's probably you lot thinking he's got his shock upside down. Yeah, I have. I've only just put that on as well. Anyway, let's go through this before I change that shock and put it right. So where was I? Yeah, so these shock absorbers are on my eBay store. I'll put a link in the description. The springs that come with the shocks are quite stiff, so it depends on what kit you want to put them on. If you've got a lot of rake in your shocks, they may do okay. So these are on this particular car, the TT01E. It's got the tuning springs, the red ones, as you can see, and they are the softest ones in that kit. I think they come with like yellow, white, red. I don't know, pretty sure there's another one. There might have been blue, can't remember now. But these are the softest ones, and you know, I know that shocks the wrong way around. But there's not a lot of weight in the front of this car, so it definitely runs a lot better. Also, I want to finally there is mention that I had these shock absorbers apart previously, clearly because I've drilled a hole in there, which, looking at it, is that my hole's okay, but there's a hole that was in there isn't. So, but anyhow, I drilled the hole and reassembled it and thought nothing of it. I took it apart just a minute ago to change the pistons, and I don't know how, but it's the pistons held onto the shaft with two E-clips, pretty standardised on most shock absorbers. And one of those E-clips, the bit that would have been behind the piston, was gone. That definitely wouldn't have happened. Well, I don't know. I must have put it on without. If I can put a shock absorber upside down and not realise, then I'm probably going to be able to not put an E-clip on. But heaven knows how that worked anyway. The piston must have been up and down the shaft. that the piston must have been, yeah, up and down the shaft, not in its right place. Anyway, I've put another one on there and it's correct now. So what I'm happy with is the sort of the weight of the car, which is less weight at the front. It's more stable now. So that sort of matches the back where most of the weight is. So we're going to get it out on track, and then we're going to hopefully get a nice clean run in to see where we're at. We're currently at about 40. We top out at 40, but it was doing 45. So I'm trying to get, you know, at least a stable, clean run at 45 miles an hour, and we'll go from there. Right, I'll see you on track in a bit. Alright, so we're here on location, nice hot day. Having a few problems with the ESC at the moment. Kept cutting out, so we're gonna...
It transpired that that was the battery connection on the car between the electronic speed controller and the battery. It was a bit of a poor connection, so I fixed that. Took it out for its first sort of run by. It seemed better, but I think the gyro was too sensitive at this point, as you can see. So it needed to have the gyro mechanism reduced, which is what I did next.
Right, so the good thing is the gyro's working. 34 miles an hour. Right.
Not bad.
Start. So I've just put the jaw rate down to 50%. Can't do too many runs because it gets too bloody hot.
So the dual rate just slows down the steering. Might help.
Here we go.
It's still too twitchy. So I think this is where
What I'm going to do is adjust the trim on the receiver.
the gyro is what I meant to say.
I think the receiver, the gyro's too twitchy.
So the car generally was a lot more stable than last time.
Right.
So the gyro was working, and I got it better. So it's quite a clean run, not the fastest by any stretch. Here we go again. It's a bit quicker. I think that was my fastest run.
Seems better. Let's have a look. That's what we got out of that one. Stop. Read. 39.
Still a long way off from 45. And this is where my camera fell off my hat because the sun,
mishap, the camera fell off.
as I've said twice.
Not good. However, we've lost some steering.
So the steering arm, the bolt come out, and there's a little spacer, brass spacer, that had gone. So one of the wheels was flapping about.
I haven't got.
But it was slightly off camera, but I didn't have the GoPro in the right place. So that pretty much ended that run in that day. I didn't have a spare. I had a quick look, but I didn't expect to find it.
So what's come out is a little, the brass collar in there. And
There's no way I'm going to find that. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.